Now, the last presentation in this block, but not the least one, is from the Network Manager Operations Center from one of our operations managers, Munevver Celik. She will talk a little bit about how the summer was experienced in our upstream. Munevver.
Thank you, Ken. So this is to go. This is forward. Okay. Good morning. I started to think that Ken has something with me, always puts my presentation just before lunchtime and after 5 consecutive presentations. But I'll do my best to keep it short, to keep it compact and hopefully interesting. So good to see you after FMP exchange. Most of you, we didn't see each other, so good to see you. For those I have not met before, my name is Munevver Celik. I'm one of the 5 operations managers in the OPSRU. Most of you know me as Minik. Today I'm here to give you a summary of the summer 18. What was our experience? You shared your experience. How did we feel? How did we manage? In short. Let's go. This one. Right. You remember this picture? I think we all felt at times stuck in a traffic jam. It's not pleasant. Nobody likes it. I think thousands of passengers felt this way. Thousands of air transport workers, I believe, felt this way. And we also did in NM Operations Center. Because we had an unprecedented demand, complexity, delay, incredible amount of issues to deal with. And while being in the central role in the network with a duty to help all of you, all the flights, all the passengers, we felt our hands were tied down, and that was frustrating for us. I'm wondering if you share the same feeling. Have you felt the same, like we did? Any of you? I don't think anybody will object to that. Okay. As you did not have enough figures and statistics, I decided to give you a little more. Just to remember what happened in big numbers. We reached 37,000 flights in the summer 18, traffic increase of 3.4% in the summer. We dealt with more than 1 million minutes of weekly delay in consecutive 7 weeks and in total 10 weeks. There was none in 2017. We had 61 days with more than 300 ATFM measures applied in the system, and only 13 days in 2017. Our peak day was August the 9th, with 468 measures in ETFMS, and associated in the order of 500 to 600 deep modifications to these measures. The summer average delay per flight was 3 minutes and 45 seconds. There were frequent changes and imposing weather conditions which made our main task, network optimization and delay saving, rather difficult. All of these changes, of course, meant instability and volatility. A word came forward summer 18 for everybody in the business. Now, I would like us to look why. We had an annual growth of 193% on staffing delays. In addition to that, we had capacity delays increased 71%. That means in total 250% of increase compared to 2017. Let's add some nasty weather figures on that. 73% increase in the weather delay. This means increase in the complexity coupled with staffing, coupled with capacity issues. It made it extremely difficult for all of us to find alternatives or to find optimization. Let's continue with our experience, NMOC experience, almost under the spotlight. On a daily basis, we saw 730 regulation actions carried out by our ops staff. 309 in average was applying a regulation, 340 was deep modifying a regulation. Total with the cancellation, we reached 730. And in the graph, you see June, July, August, September. And you see some days we passed the 1,000 limit. A sure recipe for instability. And our staff thought in this situation that we could have managed better altogether. Okay. I picked the Saturday, 28 July. Why? Because it's a Saturday. Although traffic level is only 32,000, typical to a Saturday, complexity is high. On this day, I would like you to look at 3 o'clock. This is 3 UTC. Already, we start applying regulations. This is NMOC night manning time, so staffing level is night. It already starts building. At 5 UTC, you see the peak there. We are reaching about 40 in the hourly number. There is about 30% of pre-tactically applied regulations there in green. And on top of that, a serious number of scenarios applied, obviously to control first rotation flights, but it was not enough. What happened at 5 UTC, we ended up having another 20 regulations added, suddenly arriving. Mostly when it arrives at that time, it was on collapsed sectors, adding extra difficulty for first rotation flights and creating a knock-on effect later in the hours. If you look to the numbers on the right, you will see regulations 400, delay 300, deep modifications 547. As a result of all these measures and modifications, ETFMS, known as TACT, published 219,000 messages to the flights, to the AOs. A regulated flight, in average, received 2.9 SRMs, slot revision messages. And that in itself is a clear indication that we need to manage the morning peak and the first rotation much better. Perhaps the plan better day -1, but I hear it's not the advisable or a chosen option. But clearly this graph shows us that the morning first rotation needs to be managed better to avoid at the least the knock-on effect. Then we continue. Now let's talk about phone calls. We were getting mad with the phone calls in the ops room, so we said, what the hell? Let's check the counts. So we counted the phone calls for the summer period. It's 133,740 phone calls only. This relates to 1,096 average per day, and many days we experience more than 2,000 phone calls to our ops room. Why we reached so high phone calls? Partly because our e-help desk tool experienced some technical issues, but however, on e-help desk also we received 2,200 requests per day. So then 200, 2,000 plus 2,000, that makes 4,200 on our busy days, phone calls, e-help desk requests, plus 1,000 ETFMS measures, apply, modify, cancel. I think we are now having an understanding of what was happening in the NM ops room, the workload, and and how we felt and how we dealt with. Help desk has been an issue of workload for us. It was unprecedented. We never had such a big magnitude of demand. This also told us that the help desk, e-help desk service as it was designed initially is moving towards something else. But in short, it meant very high workload, and at times it was low service perception from AOs because we were not able to grant the requests coming from AOs. Now, here what we did was we identified two issues. One was the behavioral. So many of you, or many of AOs rather, were not able to follow the suggestions that were published on NOP portal. So extreme phone calls arrived there. And second, because of technical limitations on e-help desk tool. So what we did, we asked our senior management to improve the help desk service and improve the help desk tool. So we have a workshop. A number of experts are working with engineers to improve the help desk, to improve prioritization, to improve filtering, and add other features, like opening it up to FMPs and towers. Something that we felt great difficulty throughout the summer because we are not able to identify the phone calls from FMPs for individual flight improvements or if it was for an ATFM regulation. And that kept our people rather busy and in some cases overloaded. Next we go. One of our main tasks, delay saving, giving you support, finding alternatives. Once an old mentor of mine, when I was a young girl, Bjorn will remember that, told me that there is no martini, no party. And I said, what are you saying? He says, no capacity, no staffing equals delay that ties our hands down. However, even under these difficult circumstances, I'm happy to report that we managed to save 3.5 million minutes of delay, which equals to $350 million, I'm told, in calculation. These savings were results of pure manual interventions, actions on slot list manipulation, and RRPs that were luckily accepted by AOs. We had other ways of saving delay, like capacity optimization techniques, proposing you different configurations, doing simulations, having lengthy discussions to convince you that it's better to regulate that sector, not this one, or combine this sector, not the other one. And in some cases we achieved, however, we are not able to quantify this delay that we saved. But one of the main items today I want to talk about is, after all, how did we feel? How did we feel summer 18, and how should we avoid that? Huh? We all felt pressure. We all have performance targets. Yeah? We all have bosses that you have to explain your actions, your performance, and your deliverables. All right? There were frictions at times on the phone, which ops managers from our side, we tried to regulate, we tried to calm down, we tried to contact externals and find solutions. Some of you sent us very entertaining reasons to improve your flight, and some of you had time to send at least 10 requests for the same flight, and some called every phone number and position possible in the ops room, including the technical service CSO and the ops manager, who does not normally receive help desk phone calls. Some did not understand on the phone the words, there is no capacity, there is no space. Some didn't take advice when it was given by the experts. So this was the experience. Sometimes it felt like speaking two different languages on the phone. Sometimes it felt like we were no longer partners working for the same goal. I want to say that it felt almost that we forgot that we are working part of the network and that we can achieve more working together. If we collaborate, if we communicate, and if we listen better to each other. So where do we go from here? I showed you this picture in FMP Exchange. Some of you very much liked the idea, so I wanted to share with the others. Can we do better? Where can we do better? How can we do better? These are the questions I believe we have to answer for summer 19 if we would like to avoid what happened in summer 18 to all of us. We discussed with some of you during FMP Exchange that us, Opsrum, is preparing for a workshop. You all liked the idea very much. Some of you asked us if we could provide you a list of do's and don'ts. Some of you asked us to provide you with best practices, if you like. So I'm glad to tell you that we have done our workshop. And there are some interesting points from there. I would like to share keywords on that. But meanwhile, I have received from some of you information that you already started working on summer 19 and you wanted to share your thoughts, your ideas, and you wanted to ensure the partnership will work better summer 19. I appreciate for this initiative and the contact with us. NMOC ATFM workshop. We gathered a group of people, not that we have many, but thanks to Joe and Gianni, they supported us. We have done one full day of workshop. Our theme was how to reduce volatility, how to better do network. We said to our staff, we do not expect miracles, so nobody feels under pressure. We are realistic, but we are certain that there are things we can improve, and we can ask you to work with us to improve further. 228 ideas were collected. We grouped them under 16 proposed actions, some of them internal, some of them external. We submitted this to senior management. It will be further filtered down, and the actions will be taken. We have set up working groups which will work on resource management, best practices, a list of do's, don'ts, if it comes out. But what did the ops staff said about the summer, about the interaction, about how things went? The key words: improve communication, improve CDM, improve partnership, improve expert-to-expert talk, improve the take on board the advices given by the experts on the system. Do not use live system like a simulator. Improve the knowledge level and decision making in FMP staff. Do not play with parameters of the system, or do not think that that is the solution. Know your partner, meet them, learn and establish contact. Our staff wants to meet with you, wants to establish contact with you, wants to get to know your problems and work with you to find solutions. Okay? One interesting thing came up: don't blame, first the facts. Stress and pressure is often on everybody. We're going to prepare a report, and we expect this report, Gianni will give you an update, to be reported to ODSG, I believe. We have several initiatives already on the partnership front to familiarize with you locally. I think Marseille and Karlsruhe are the first in the line to set up an expert-to-expert group talk and find best ways of working together. There is something I think we all forgotten. This was the feeling during our workshop, we discussed about this, we shared this picture, and I felt the need that I should share this with you. I think we a little bit need to go back to basics. We a little bit need to remember why are we doing what we are doing. It's all business, we know that, but the business is for customer. No? Now, I mean, I hope you share my feeling here. And I hope in this sharing we will come to a conclusion and understanding that we need to work through the partnership. We need to work for AOs to improve them, but the AOs need to understand our limitations. We need to explain you better our plans, but you need to be able to listen. We need to be able to explain to you why we are saying things so that we can remember why and what purpose we all have. And I believe this concludes my presentation. I thank you all for listening, and we will be talking later, I believe, in other groups. Thank you.